Separate bank accounts? Let's talk about it. If you are married or partnered, we'll say, and you are wondering what's the best way to handle money as a couple, then this video is for you. I'm going to be sharing exactly my thoughts, both the pros and cons of joining your finances or keeping them separate, and I would love to know your thoughts in the comments on what, you think makes the most sense. Download as a complimentary gift from me to you my ebook called The Financial Freedom Formula: 5 Steps to Decrease Debt, Increase Your Income, and Save Money. I want to dive right in by saying that every relationship must be treated uniquely. And of course, there are guidelines that generally make sense for couples to be able to follow. However, because every relationship is unique, we want to make sure that we don't forget to take that into consideration. So that's what I'm going to say up front, because I actually used to think joining your finances as a married couple was like 100% the way to go. And there were some reasons why. I think that makes sense when, there's trust in the relationship, when there's transparency, and when you can have conversations about money that make it possible for you not to worry about what could happen with the funds. And I say this because recently I was actually at the bank and I overheard someone that was at the teller window next to me. And they were talking about how they needed to figure out how to open another account or something like that because they shared a joint account with someone that they were with and that person was draining that account. And so when I heard that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's not necessarily safe for everyone to join their finances with their partner, because maybe they have a drug or alcohol, situation. Maybe they have a mental health condition. Maybe there are other factors that come into play that make it a little bit more risky, especially as a woman, to share finances with somebody else. And I mean, you know what? Let me not even say especially as a woman. I mean, maybe it's kind of risky for some men too. I don't know, but I'm not a man, so I can't speak to that. I do say that financial exploitation and things like that are a thing, so we can't ignore that it just may not necessarily be the safest thing to share finances in 100% of situations. But I'm gonna preface that with, if it's not safe to share finances with someone, I would question, why are you with that person? And that's a different conversation for a different day. But you have to assess some things to know whether it makes sense for you to join your finances with your partner. I'll be transparent and share that me and my husband have joint shared accounts. We do have separate ones as well, because I've got my business account and I've got my own personal credit card, my own personal bank account, but we have access to each other's stuff. There's full transparency in our relationship, and we do have joint accounts. I've heard that having, I think, 5 accounts is helpful for couples. So like having a joint checking, a joint savings, having individual checkings for each other, and then being able to have like another account that you're able to utilize for whether it's sinking funds or just like whatever your dream is together, so on and so forth. There's just so many different ways, and instead of just taking on a cookie cutter approach that someone else has prescribed, you need to have a conversation with your partner to be able to tell where your relationship is at, how healthy it is, and where you're at financially to be able to make this happen or not. And so I think that's the piece that's really missing here, is the emotional intelligence to be able to have clear and open conversations and then take clear and confident action based on that. And so, biblically, of course, it's all about joining and becoming one. And again, that makes a lot of sense in a lot of situations, but it doesn't make sense in 100% of scenarios. And so I can't sit here to say that you should do it any specific way. I am sitting here to say that you want to make sure that you're having a clear and open conversation with whoever it is that you are considering doing this with, and then looking at everything and coming up with a clear vision for what your lives are going to look like moving forward, because that should dictate how you manage your finances anyway. You can have separated finances and still have a shared vision. I think that's possible. It requires, transparency and communication, respect, a lot of these different emotional intelligence, emotional fitness things. And that's why I think the psychology piece, the relational piece, a therapist could be really helpful in this to facilitate a conversation. I know my husband and I, when we were getting ready to get married, and even for a little bit after we got married, we did premarital counseling, and we did an assessment. It's called Prepare and Rich, and we actually aced the finance part, and that was because we had so many conversations before we got married that helped us to really be clear on what we knew we wanted to see happen in our lives and where we both were at. Like, I came into the relationship with debt, he came into the relationship with debt, and yeah, it was both of us in our vision to clear those debts before we got married. Mainly me, because I was like, listen, I ain't getting married with debt. And he did it. He made it happen. And then we were able to go on to the next thing. Like, what's our next, mini goal that's helping us with our major goal in life? And so since then, we've been able to purchase a home. We've traveled the world. Like, we're building businesses and growing wealth for ourselves and our family. So I think that more than anything, I can't say it's one clear-cut answer, which you probably don't like. But I would love to know what questions come along with this topic in the comments, and I would love to share whatever feedback I can if you get chatty with me. Make sure that you stick around, subscribe, download as a complimentary gift from me to you my ebook called The Financial Freedom Formula: 5 Steps to Decrease Debt, Increase Your Income, and Save Money. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, so I do know a little bit of what I'm talking about when it comes to this thing called relationships and money. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.